Today we're going to write a recount, your explorer's diary. Pause the video while you write the date and the learning objective neatly at the top of your page. We're ready to write. Your task today is to write one paragraph for each of your pictures. You have your plan in pictures in your book, and we're going to use that to write our explorer's diary. You've got 4 pictures, so you will need to write 4 short paragraphs. You will need to include adjectives and descriptive phrases, but you do already have those written around the edge of your picture. You will need to include the 3 different features we practiced using yesterday, and you already have those in some sentences, so you've got a little head start on your work today. I will show you how I created my first paragraph to help you get started. This is what I used to create my paragraph. You can see my picture with the words all the way around it, and you can see the 6 sentences that I wrote yesterday. Some of the words are in red because that's showing the features that make them extended sentences. So I'm going to create a paragraph using these sentences. I think this might be enough for this paragraph because I've got 6 things about one picture. Now you might only have one sentence to match up with one picture. In that case, you're going to need to write some more sentences. But I think I might have enough sentences for this picture, so I'm going to put them in the right order. Now pause the video and think about which sentences should come at the beginning of my paragraph. You're going to need to read all of them and think about which ones would come first. I'll read them to you. First, I had to descend down into the wide open mouth of the cave. I decided to leave the brightly coloured insects alone because they may have been poisonous. I attempted to light a torch because the cave was so dark and gloomy. I climbed down the twisted vine and looked around me above towering trees. I was scared to climb over the rocky cliff, but there was no other way down. After that, I looked around the cave and observed the deadly insects scuttling into the shadows. Which one do you think I should put first? That one's quite easy, isn't it? Which one should go second, though? I'll leave it to you. Have a think about it. You can pause the video if you'd like to. And when you're ready, we can move on to the next slide and you can see if you're right. Here they are. These are the ones I chose at the beginning. I've started with, first I had to descend into the wide open mouth of the cave. And then I've chosen, I was scared to climb over the rocky cliff, but there was no other way down. And the next sentence I've chosen is, I climbed down the twisted vine and looked around me above towering trees. Now pause the video and think about the order of the sentences at the end of the paragraph. Which ones shall I put next? Read them again if you need to check. Have you done the same as me? I've chosen, the next sentence I chose was, I attempted to light a torch because the cave was so dark and gloomy. And the torch helped me to look around, so my next sentence says, after that, I looked around the cave and observed the deadly insects scuttling into the shadows. And the last sentence is, I decided to leave the brightly coloured insects alone because they may have been poisonous. Now, all of my 6 sentences that I wrote yesterday were about this picture, but you've got 3 other pictures to write about as well. So you're going to have to think of 4, 5 sentences for each of your pictures. Then you know you've got a good paragraph. To help you write your sentences, there are some things that you can use. Use your pictures, but you can also use this slide here with the features that will help you write extended sentences. You've got and but that help you to add detail, the adverbs of time that tell you when something happens, and because, which makes sure your sentences can explain and give reasons. So the words in red are the ones you need to try and include in your sentences. Come back and look at this part of the video if you need to remind yourself. There's something else that might be able to help you. If you still have the work booklet, then you can use the grid on page 11 to support your writing. There are sentence starters and questions to help you think of what to write. So the first box says you need to state when the exploring happened, sum up the day and tell your reader how you felt. For example, today has been amazing. I was so... and then you can finish the sentence. And then move on to the next box. What did you do before you set off? I put on my... You can choose the writing with the dots after it to start your sentence and then complete it yourself to match the pictures. And that might give you an idea of how to get started, and it might give you ideas of what you need to write as you go through your diary entry. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 7 boxes and 8 sentence starters. So that, along with the sentences that you wrote yesterday, should help you to do quite a lot of good writing today. When you've completed your paragraphs, check your work. Have you included description and vocabulary that extends your sentences? If you weren't sure about that vocabulary to extend your sentences, go back in the video and look at that part again. If you've used any of the words that I mentioned in red, you can underline them in a coloured pencil because they're words that you've included to show how good your work is. Now you've completed your 4 paragraphs, you can upload your work to your portfolio, and myself or Miss Potter or Miss Cartwright or Miss Myerscough will check it. I'm looking forward to seeing some amazing writing about your exploration and adventures.